Guys, we're going to be talking about today, I want to discuss the topic of why it is better for somebody to be in a state of flow and create something that is not as good versus to be out of flow but create something that is better. So let's talk about first, what is flow? And I talk about this a lot, but flow is something that is, I feel like the explanation of it needs a lot of understanding because it can get really deep when you really dive into it. State of flow is when we are not thinking and we are just expressing. So we're expressing in like action. We're expressing in words. The way that I'm talking right now is in flow, which basically means I'm not thinking of what it is that I'm saying. I'm simply just saying what it is that comes through. I don't stop it in my mind. I don't go, okay, say this next, and then I say it, and then I go, okay, now go ahead and say this. Is it right? Okay, now say it. No, there is not that. There is just talking, right? There's just expression. And people enter into this all the time. While at the same time, somebody can also not be in a state of flow. And not in a state of flow in that same example is where I would say this. I would go, okay, what am I gonna say now? I'm gonna say this. Hey, this. Was that right? Yeah, that's right. Okay, so what do they wanna hear now? They wanna hear that. Hey, that thing, blah, blah, blah. And then, so that is not a state of flow. That is where we are using our mind to try to figure things out. And what it does is the information comes, it stops at the mind, and then it expresses out. Versus in a state of flow, information comes through, it doesn't stop at the mind, it just goes straight out constantly. This is why we call it a state of flow, because it's constantly flowing. This is also another term, people, if you ever heard the term channeling, people channel and they do the same thing. You're a channel, you're an open channel. Information comes in and comes out. But this isn't just with talking, this is with everything. This is also with action. With like extreme athletes that are doing this stuff, rock climbing with no ropes or flying, doing these Red Bull competitions, all this awesome, cool, crazy shit that people are doing nowadays. They are also in a state of flow and their expression is action. They're not sitting there trying to figure it out, right? So it is better to go ahead and express in a state of flow. Even though your expression is not perfect, it is not the best, then to go ahead and express not in a state and have it to be perfect. Here is why. When we're in a state of flow and we are expressing, so let's say I'm making this video right now and I'm in this state of flow, so I don't have any outlines, I don't have any plans, I have an idea, and then I'm just flowing with the idea, and whatever comes out the end is whatever comes out at the end. So maybe this video comes out to be really, really good. Awesome. You guys love it, and it makes a lot of sense. Or maybe this video doesn't come out the best, and by the time I'm done with this video, you're scratching your head going, what the heck is he talking about? It could happen. I don't know, because there's no plan. I'm just flowing with the conversation. However, by practicing being in this state, it allows me to get better at being in this state, better at allowing information to flow through, better at expressing constantly, expressing without stopping the expression. I have something I want to express, I say it out loud. If I want to move in some way, whatever the expression is, it just flows right out. And the expression that flows out isn't always going to be perfect. It's not always going to make sense. It's not always going to be good. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. That's just how life is. However, as we constantly express a certain idea, a certain concept, a certain niche, whatever it is, we get better at it through repetition. So therefore, over time, the expression gets better and better. But by practicing that state of being when we're expressing in this flow state, expressing without blocking it, over time, we are able to master being in that state. we're able to go ahead and be in that state easily. And when that mean easily, what I actually mean is that it's not the easiest to go ahead and be in a state of flow. It's not the easiest to constantly be channeling information. Because if it was easy, then that means that everybody out there, everybody would be expressing exactly not what's on their mind, more so of what is in their heart. They're going to be expressing exactly how they feel. Because when you're in a state of flow, that you are expressing not from here. That's why there is no stopping here. You are expressing from your energy. You're plugged into your energy. You're plugged into the way you feel, and you are expressing that. And your mind and your energy, your emotion is combined together, synced in, and you're expressing that. Over time, those things become more seared together and get really, really good at it. We can be in a state of flow and we can express on a very, very high level. And in the beginning, maybe it was only so-so. But over time, it becomes really, really good. Also, because we're in a state of flow, we aren't sitting there trying to plan. We don't run into any self-doubt. We don't have any judgments. I'm not sitting here going, is this video gonna come out good? Are they gonna understand? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But the fact that I'm talking about expressing in a state of flow means this video is gonna come out just like the way I'm filming it right now. So I'm never gonna edit any of this out. I'm not gonna go ahead and edit and only leave in certain parts. Not at least for this video, because this video is meant to go ahead and talk about it while at the same time show you an example of a process of how it looks like to be in a state, to be in that state of flow. Now, the other alternative is what most people do. And what that is they are not in a state of flow, and when they are expressing, they're constantly blocking. They're blocking their expression. And the way that they're blocking their expression is through doubt, worry, fear, judgment, emotions, and along that genre of points of view, So they can't let whatever they're feeling just to come out. They have to go ahead and analyze it. They have to compare it. They have to think about it. They have to judge it. They have to think, does this really represent me? How are people gonna think of me? Are they gonna like it? Are they gonna not like it? And what happens if they don't like it? What should I do then? Maybe I shouldn't even do it at all. And let me go ahead and list out the pros and cons. And they go through all of this process, and whether or not they end up expressing at the end doesn't even matter. Because they are practicing. They are practicing on not maintaining being in a state of flow. They might enter it for a little bit, but the moment that judgment comes in, the moment that doubt comes in, boom, it stops. And now they're sitting there analyzing. And so maybe somebody does this process, right? And at the end, between they're in a little flow, then they stop and they think and they stop and they plan, they figure out. And after all this time, they produce whatever expression they're gonna produce. If it's like, let's say this video, somebody is filming a video. At the end, they chop this video up, they do all this stuff, and they put this video out, and this video looks really polished. It's super clean. Their posture is nice. There's a nice background. Their hair is nice. There's not this weird thing going on, right? The camera is not shaky. Initially, you would look at it and you'll go, well, it doesn't matter how they created it. It only matters that what they created was really good, right? So I understand that point of view. This video is to go ahead and share another perspective. The perspective that actually, the long run, the first scenario of learning to be in flow through when you're expressing, learning to be in flow through your creation is actually better. Reason number one, and the main reason, it's not about what it is that we're creating. It's about self-mastery. When we master ourselves, the ability to stay in the state of flow, the state of channeling information, and we get really, really good at that, the information, the creativity, the stuff that we create becomes better and better and better and better and better. It's faster, tremendously faster. This video that I'm making right now for you guys, I didn't write this down. This was simply a conversation with my friend Maylon. And we were sitting there, we were talking, I was like, wow, you know, May, I'm gonna make a video on this right now. Because we were literally talking about this subject here, just, 10 minutes and 24 minutes in right now. So we were talking about this 15 minutes ago. So there's no plans, we just had a conversation. Here I am making a video for you. That is what we call flow. Now, if I was to go and sit there and go, okay, May, so, all right, that's a really great thought. Now I'm gonna go and write these things down. So I'd write down the points, here's the reasons, and do all this stuff, you know? Then when I'm making a video for you, I'll go, okay, so today we're gonna talk about the 3 reasons why blah, blah, blah. Reason number 1, because of this. Reason number 2, da, 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 and all this stuff. Maybe the video comes out to be more structured and maybe it's a little shorter. But what I am not practicing on is how to express naturally. And now I am dependent on having to constantly plan, constantly go ahead and use my mind to figure things out. And over time, because I'm constantly doing it that way, I don't have the ability. I don't just lose the ability. I just don't practice the ability to be in a state of flow. I don't practice the ability to be able to express naturally, authentically, genuinely. I don't have the ability to go ahead and let the emotions flow out. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. Right? And so therefore, in the beginning, that video that was cut and polished and planned out may look like, wow, you know, it's a better idea because that video is so solid. You really hit these points, you know, the cuts are so clean. And this video right now, that's now going on 12 minutes. Maybe someone goes, well, Mike, you know, you're just kind of jabbering on things. Well, maybe, right? But what I am practicing on is learning how to be in this state. This state of flow also means the ability to be genuine, the ability to express authentically, not express what has been planned out, what's been scripted out, what's been polished out, what's been cut out, add this in, add that in. So this way I can try to go ahead and paint a picture for somebody. No, I'm just expressing exactly what I feel and what it is that we were discussing about. And the way it comes out is the way it comes out. And over time, this ability to be able to do this would be so high, and the information that I can go ahead and express constantly will be much, much higher. More information can come out because it's so much faster. Imagine if you're having a conversation with somebody and you had to go ahead and plan out every single conversation. You would take forever to try to have conversations because you had to write everything down. But as we all know, we've all experienced conversations to where you're so engaged, you talk for hours and you didn't even realize the time on how much time just went by because you're totally in flow. You're not even thinking about it. There's no judgment of what they're saying or you're saying. You're just expressing away. And then there's conversations that we all have been in where we are sitting there thinking, analyzing, we want to say something, we kind of hold it back and you just kind of feel uncomfortable. And there's no flow, there's this kind of resistance. We've all experienced that before. And by practicing the first one, how to be in flow, everything we do starts to be in flow because we are practicing being in the state of flow. We are practicing on letting go of all the resistance that's in here. So letting it flow out. So now, for the sake of, if to make this a little more clear and to go and sum it up, it is better to go ahead, in my opinion, in my personal belief, to stay in the state of flow and to practice being in the state of flow, even if it means the stuff that comes out is not going to be perfect. And also, if somebody was to go ahead and do it that way, they practice on getting better at being in that state. And the trade-off is in the beginning, maybe what it is that they're expressing, their creation, is not the best. Maybe. Now, I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt because in reality, and what I have found personally, is that when we're in this state, of flow and we are expressing in that way, actually things come out much better. Much, much better. However, for this topic in the video, I know for a fact, because every one of the videos that I have filmed for you guys over the past year and a half, I don't write outlines. I used to do them all the time. You know, 6-pack days, I used to do them all the time. But now, I don't write any outlines. I literally just have an idea, and I just talk about it. And so therefore, to sum it back up, it's better to go ahead and be in a state of flow. So this way we practice being in that state. And we practice being authentic, we practice being genuine, and we practice expressing in this state, because we express much more, we express more genuine and authentically, and we have full emotions behind the expression, and we are more creative with our expressions, because we didn't plan out. I don't know how this conversation is going to end. It ends when nothing else is channeling through, when nothing else is flowing through. Until then, it can just keep flowing, just keeps going. Versus the other way of creating. Very, very standard. There's a box that you operate in. And it may initially be better because the creation is cleaner, more polished. However, when we do it that way, we don't have the chance to practice being in a state of flow. We don't have that chance because we're always constantly starting, stopping, starting, stopping. And over time, it is much slower to go ahead and express. We don't learn how to actually express authentically, genuinely. We don't know how to go ahead and naturally let the emotions flow out. And for people that are watching a video, for people that are looking, when they're looking at somebody express, they can tell when something is planned out, when something is not fully genuine. There's a sense in the way that the person is talking, the way that they look, their body language, whether or not somebody is very conscious of these things or not, there is a part of them that's able to tell. And they may not be able to pinpoint on it. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But when they don't, they just go, you know, something about that person, I don't know what it is, but it's kind of weird. Can't really trust them. I don't know. You know, just, I don't know. But they have this feeling, you know. But when we're in a state of flow, those feelings that come out, maybe somebody is saying words that aren't the most cleanest, but the feeling and the emotion, the expression that comes out is super clean, and somebody connects to them. They go, you know what? I trust this person because this person ain't bullshitting me. They're saying it from the heart. And that's another way of saying it. Speak from the heart, express from the heart, even if it is not perfect, you know? So we're about 18 minutes into this video. I hope I was able to shine a little bit of light about this topic of being in a state of flow versus not being in a state of flow, and why it is better to be in a state of flow. Keep practicing being in that state of flow. Keep practicing expressing in that state, even if your expression is not the best. Keep practicing because it will get better. And what you are gaining is not just to create better creations, but you are gaining on how to be able to constantly be in that state and start to master being in that state. And then you become fully authentic, genuine. And you stop pretending, you know. You stop judging, you stop caring about the judgments. You're not working with this framework anymore. You're not restricted. You're now free to be the way you want to be, express the way you want to express, and life unfolds in magnificent ways.